Part 93. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 925. After the group photo in the port area was taken, the ship girls did not leave immediately, but all surrounded Qin Ji. "Commander, how about this surprise?" Enterprise said with a smile. A bright smile appeared on Qin Ji's face. "To be honest, I was really surprised, and how could I be so moved all of a sudden?" "So you did all this?" "Oh, that's right. It's the result of everyone's joint efforts, and has the commander noticed this venue?" Prince Eugen smiled. "I was too surprised just now, so I didn't pay attention. Here, if I remember correctly, it's next to the ship girl school, right?" Although it was night, Qin Ji could still clearly see the special building in the distance through the light. "Lecture hall. Commander is worthy of being a commander. I thought you would say that this is not our port area." George V smiled. "Well, actually I thought so at the beginning, but I could vaguely see the special building of the lecture hall from here, so I was sure it was near the ship girl school." Qin Ji pointed in the distance. "Said the blurry building at the corner. Is this considered a failure?" Prince Eugen looked at Guanghui and smiled. "I don't think so. We didn't build this place specifically to embarrass the commander, but to bring surprises to him. If you don't want him to recognize it, then I think other places are fine," Guanghui said with a smile. Qin Ji shook his head helplessly. "You are still talking about this. You obviously have such a big formation in the port area, but I don't know at all. And now I finally want to understand why Egil always goes on patrol alone. It turns out that you are all colluding. Are you afraid that I will see the construction situation here?" He, "I don't take responsibility for this, it's all their intention. You also know that the arm can't twist the thigh, so I can only do this." Egil smiled, his mouth full of joking words. "But having said that, I saw so many decorations over there, as well as light shows and the like. They shouldn't all be Donghuang themed, right? How did it take you so long to finish them all?" Qin Ji looked puzzled. "To the distance. Hey, we originally prepared these things that we could play by ourselves, but we were really short of time, so we had to ask other camps for help. Fortunately, they knew that we had done it for the commander and gave them their full help, and we were finally able to complete it today. Show the best side of the Spring Festival garden party to the commander," Guanghui said with a smile. Qin Ji couldn't help but look at the Enterprise speechlessly, which made the Enterprise cough in embarrassment. After all, she was in charge of diplomacy. "Commander, don't worry, everything is customized with our own money, so no favors or anything like that are used." "That's good. I don't want to trouble others because of our port affairs," Qin Ji said with a smile, but then he was stunned. "Why don't I see the allocation list in the documents?" Everyone looked at the Enterprise again. This time, even the Enterprise couldn't help but rolled its eyes. "You asked me to do all this?" For a moment, everyone looked at the company's helpless look and couldn't help but laugh together. Qin Ji also understood what was going on and couldn't help but smile. "You guys, I have received your thoughts today. Let everything that happened in the past be forgotten. Let's celebrate the new year happily together." "Yes, Commander," everyone responded. At this time, not far away, a voice squeezed in. "I said, do you still want to take pictures?" Qin Ji was stunned. "Didn't you just finish taking pictures? Why are you still taking pictures?" "It's like this. We just took a group photo of our port area, but when it comes to such a happy event, how can we take a photo? We decided that each camp would take a photo with Comrade Commander. If we wait until later, our Spring Festival Gala will begin today. Anyone who performs on stage can take photos with Comrade Commander. So Comrade Commander, you will be busy tonight. The developed photos will be put in a special album for you. I believe you won't mind." Soviet Rosia smiled. "Well, you have already decided, so how can I be angry? And I finally know why there are so many people rehearsing the show this time, so you have told everyone this information already, right? Shinji couldn't help but laugh. It's almost like this. After all, the Lord has always wanted to remember you, and everyone also wants to remember the Lord. Magi said. Okay, I will be a model today. If you want to take pictures, please come and take pictures together, Shinji said, looking at Gridley. Gridley, I'll leave it to you today. Hey, leave it to me, I'm the best at this kind of thing, Gridley agreed excitedly. She likes excitement the most. So which camp should we start with? Shinji asked. We discussed it and decided to start with Donghuang first, Huanghui said, then move on to Royal, White Eagle, Iron Blood, Heavy Sakura, Sardinian Empire, Iris, Northern United, and end with Embers. Okay, then I'll sit here. Shinji heard that the order had been arranged. It seemed that he really only needed to be a model, so he sat directly on the stool and said, let's get started. Hee hee. Amidst laughter, everyone left the scene one after another, leaving space to Donghuang's ship girls. Yuxian sat on the left side of Shinji, and Jinhai sat on the right side of Shinji. After all, one of them is the leader of the camp, and the other is the Donghuang ship's wife who has followed Shinji for a long time. She can also be regarded as Donghuang's top military advisor. Seats are taken for granted. Soon, everyone was standing or sitting together. Although Shinji realized that there were relatively few people in Donghuang, there were 15 people standing together, and there were 16 people in total including him, which was not as shabby as he had imagined. After Donghuang took the photo, it was the royal family. Hundreds of people crowded over together, making Shinji feel a little ashamed. When did the number of the royal family become so strong? It is indeed a camp that can defeat White Eagle and Chongying in the Minato area. Soon, one camp after another was photographed, and the time gradually came to around 8 o'clock. When Hai and Seattle walked onto the stage behind everyone, the New Year's Eve party, which represented another year, was about to begin. At this time, Shinji was sitting with a group of camp leaders in the audience, watching the maid team push the dining cart for the people who had just set the tables, and serve today's dishes one by one. It's the end of another year. Maybe our port area will be better next year, Shinji said with a smile. It must be, Yuxian said with a smile. No matter how big the obstacles are, I believe we will win, Bismarck smiled. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 926. The program of the Spring Festival Gala has been going on for a long time. After all, almost everyone in the port area has prepared a program, whether it is a solo or a team. So even after midnight, there are still many programs left. In such a lively situation, no one felt sleepy at all, including Shinji, the commander. Now his body is no longer what it was when he first came here. After the kitchen goddess and the others continued to adjust it, it seems to have surpassed the limits of human beings. Now even if I don't rest for several days or nights, I won't feel any discomfort at all. And as a bonus for performing on the stage today, he accompanied them to take photos, and he did not allow himself to rest so early. Even when Belfast came to remind me at 1 or 2 o'clock in the evening, it didn't stop at all. Seeing his master like this, Belfast shook his head helplessly and could only continue to accompany his master. By the way, it seems like it will be my turn in the next show, Yuxian said while looking at the figures on the stage. Shinji became interested for a moment. Oh, so does Yuxian perform alone or with others? With Daifeng, Yuxian smiled and said, as for what the show is, Commander can look forward to it later. Shinji was stunned. You and Daifeng performed together. This couldn't help but shock him. No matter how you look at it, Daifeng and Yuxian can't have much of a close relationship, right? Does it mean that he just got distracted? Yes, the commander may not know, but Dafeng is actually my apprentice now, Yuxian explained with a smile. Apprentice? Qin Ji asked confused, when did she become your apprentice? Why didn't I know? When Chongying went to Donghuang with us, when Dafeng came to ask me some questions about Donghuang, I naturally wouldn't refuse. The two of us got to know each other as soon as we went back and forth, and I thought the kid was pretty good. Apart from being a little obsessed with the commander, he was a gentle and easygoing kid in every aspect. So when she approached me as a disciple and wanted to learn something, I agreed without hesitation. So this performance is also the first performance for both of us, master and apprentice. Commander, you can look forward to it. Yuxian said with a smile. Qin Ji opened his eyes wide. He really didn't know that such a thing had happened. But having said that, this pairing is really a bit surprising, but I also hope what kind of performance they will perform. Okay, now I'm looking forward to seeing your performance, Qin Ji said with a smile. Actually, I'm quite interested too. Speaking of Yi Sen, even if you don't have to reveal the content of the performance, is the show you're preparing more focused on Sakura or Tohoku? Musashi asked curiously. Actually, the cultures of Chongying and Donghuang are very similar. This performance should not be said to be biased towards the culture of one camp, but rather to extract the common points between the cultures of the two camps, Yi Xian said with a smile. Oh, then I'm very interested, Musashi said with a smile. In fact, it stands to reason that Musashi would not sit here originally. After all, the flagship of Shigesakura's combined fleet is Nagato. However, since the five Zangs were summoned and became a real high-level leader, Nagato has deliberately retreated to the second line. Tonight, Nagato, Mikasa, and Kongo sat together, which was quite relaxing. Finally, as Omaha, Marblehead, Raleigh, Memphis, Richmond, and Concord finished their performances on stage and came to the stage to take photos with Qin Ji, Dafeng also appeared in Yuxian's room at some unknown time. Around. After taking the photos and sending the Omaha sisters away, Qin Ji sat down and looked at Dafeng in surprise, who was wearing a cheongsam and some heavy makeup. To be honest, cheongsam is a garment that can highlight your figure, especially when you wear it on Dafeng and look at those very obvious strangulation marks. Qin Ji was really worried that the cheongsam would not be able to withstand Dafeng's pressure and would fall apart at key locations. Commander, the next round of performances will be my and my master's turn. Please look forward to it, Commander Dafeng said with a red face, looking at Qin Ji, his tone full of excitement. I know, I just mentioned that she and you are about to perform, but is it really okay to wear this outfit during the performance? Qin Ji said speechlessly. No problem, Dafeng fiddled with his clothes, and then said charmingly to Qin Ji, what do you think, Commander, of the clothes made by Dafeng himself? If Commander, you want to see something more special, Dafeng can also make it and wear it to show to the Commander. Qin Ji was stunned. From the corner of his eyes, he saw the teasing smiles of several leaders and ship girls. He quickly coughed and said, well, the clothes are very good, but there is no need for more special ones. Dafeng is wearing ordinary clothes, it's already pretty good. Thank you, Commander, for your compliment. Dafeng is very happy, Dafeng said slightly excitedly, but Dafeng still wants to show a better side of himself in front of Commander, so he has time later. When the time comes, Commander, you can come to Dafeng. Dafeng is waiting for Commander to arrive at any time. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile. How could he not understand Dafeng's thoughts? However, such a straightforward expression may cause embarrassment in front of so many people. Yuxian on the side naturally saw this problem, so he stood up with a smile. It seems that the time is almost up, Dafeng, we have to make preparations, otherwise it would be bad to interrupt the performance later. Although he was a little reluctant to separate from Qin Ji, Dafeng still nodded, yes, Master. Then Commander, after the show is over later, Daifeng will come see you again. After Daifeng finished speaking to Qin Ji, he followed Yuxian and walked towards the back of the stage. Seeing this scene, Qin Ji couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, which made everyone sitting at the table smile. Haha, Commander looks like he has a headache, Veneto smiled. It's the hardest to bear the kindness of a beauty, Qin Ji couldn't help but sigh, whether it's Daifeng or Shijun, although such proactive behavior may make people a little overwhelmed, they are all you like me, that's why you do this. Maybe I'm still a little conservative now. As two people who want to stay together for life, maybe we should accept each other with more sincere feelings. Actually, the commander is doing well now, and people always have to adapt. I have been with you for several years and have witnessed the growth of the commander. I believe you will be able to deal with such things in the future. It's easy, Bismarck smiled. Maybe, keep watching the show, we can't let everyone's rehearsal show go to waste, Qin Ji said with a smile. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 927. The Spring Festival Gala lasted until late at night and stopped just before dawn. Basically everyone attended it, whether it was a talent show or other dramas. Everyone's purpose is simple, to show their best side to their commander and then take photos with him. As a souvenir, keep it permanently in your ship's installation space. No matter where you are in the future, if you miss him, just take out the photo and look at it. You will feel that your commander is by your side, and this is an eternal memory. After the party, everyone celebrated in place for a long time, and then gradually dispersed with the arrival of dawn. When Qin Ji woke up, it was already afternoon. Just after washing up, I received an invitation from the ship girls. Last night was just the beginning of the Spring Festival, and today is the official start of the Spring Festival garden party. Commander, would you like some octopus balls? They're delicious. Commander, would you like a basket of freshly steamed buns? Filled with cod. Not long after arriving at the garden party, Qin Ji was surrounded. The vendor at the garden party was also played by a ship girl. When she saw her commander coming, she naturally wanted him to have a taste of her craft. However, it seemed that too many people had gathered, so much so that the entire road was blocked. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile helplessly, stretched out his hand and said to everyone, since everyone is holding a New Year garden party here, you must also take care of other people's feelings. You can't all rush up to pay attention to me just because I'm here. Everyone else comes here with a fun mentality, so you should also pay attention to others. So I will taste your stalls one by one later, but before that, please keep the order of the entire New Year garden party, okay? Good. After hearing their commander say this, everyone also realized that their current behavior may have caused a slight inconvenience to their commander. So he quickly dispersed in reply and returned to his stall. While the roads were clear, order was restored at the New Year garden party, which made Qin Ji breathe a sigh of relief. Turning his head, he looked at Guanghui who was snickering beside him and said, "It's so enthusiastic. I feel like I can't control the situation." Haha, this is also a sign that everyone likes the commander, Guanghui said with a smile. I know this, but apart from me and Minato, other people are also coming to the New Year garden party with expectations, so I can't let other people's experience be greatly compromised just because I'm alone. Qin Ji couldn't help but smile bitterly. That's what the Lord said. Miao Gao is in charge of the order here. I'll just inform her later, Magi said with a smile. Qin Ji smiled and said, in that case, let's go shopping first. To be honest, I didn't have many opportunities to look here last night, and now everything feels new. If that's the case, why don't I take the commander forward? If the commander has anything you don't understand, You can ask me at any time, because we are responsible for figuring it out, Guanghui said with a smile. Well, that would be great. Qin Ji nodded and followed Guanghui's footsteps and walked forward. Whenever he stopped next to an obvious shop or artwork, Guanghui and the people from Tianchen next to him would introduce the origin of these things to Qin Ji, including whether these were built by the ship girls in the port area, or which camp they came from, what does it mean, and other things. Of course, I would occasionally stop in front of the stall nearby and bite a bunch or two of snacks for the stall owner, with a smile. The whole process can be said to be very relaxing. The commander must know this, right? Several people walked to a rabbit woven with flowers, Guanghui said to Qin Ji with a smile. Qin Ji smiled and said, "Is it because this year is the year of the rabbit?" "That's right," Commander Guanghui nodded, and then asked Qin Ji with a smile, "Commander, I'm actually a little curious about the origin of the 12 zodiac signs, and what they represent." "What?" Qin Ji smiled and said, "I know a little about this. In my previous world, the origin of the 12 zodiac signs was basically impossible to infer, but it is said that there have been hypotheses about the 12 zodiac signs since the pre-Qin dynasty, but there was no such thing at that time. There is no correspondence with the 12 earthly branches. By the end of the Western Han dynasty, all 12 zodiac signs had been determined and corresponded to the 12 earthly branches. Some of the most popular hypotheses are the totem theory, which says that ancient ancestors used the images of animals as tribal totems because they feared animals. The animals in the zodiac are basically the totems of the original tribe. For example, Dong Huang often talks about the descendants of the dragon, and the dragon is one of the totems of the tribe. It's just that the specific order is why it is arranged like this. There were many stories circulated before, but those were just stories and there was never a definite explanation. But what is interesting is that not only Dong Huang has the legend of the 12 zodiac signs, but also ancient Greece, which was civilized at the same time as Dong Huang, also has the legend of the 12 zodiac signs. Therefore, it can be seen that the number 12 and the worship of animals begin deep in the human soul. No matter where they are, whether there is communication or not, they will all worship accordingly. Haha, my lord knows this very well, Magi said with a smile. Well, this is why I like to read some books when I was bored. I mentioned these above, and I will remember them more deeply for those I am interested in. We can talk about some of them when we usually chat like this, but if we really want to explain in detail when I did, I felt a little ashamed, Qin Ji said with a smile. What the commander said is fine. After all, Dong Huang's history is too long, and there are some missing parts in the inheritance. It is impossible to understand everything the ancestors thought. More importantly, those of us as younger generations should continue to conduct research while respecting them, truly understand the thoughts of the sages, and then develop our own thoughts. Zhenhai said. Haha, I can't compare to the sages' height. Now I just want to develop our port area well, and then win our war. When the world is at peace, I can travel the world with you, Qin Ji said with a smile. Haha, so am I. Several ship girls smiled together. Let's go ahead and take a look, Qin Ji said. And in such a harmonious and leisurely atmosphere, the New Year time passes little by little. Every day Qin Ji would go shopping with his wedding ship or some other ship girls. Although by the end of the tour, he already knew what was included in the New Year garden party, everyone's feelings were different, so you won't feel bored or anything. It was not until after the Lantern Festival that the flavor of the New Year gradually faded away, and the entire port area returned to normal. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 928. Although the atmosphere of the Spring Festival is lively, there is also a time to return to normal. As soon as the Lantern Festival on the 15th day of the first lunar month is over, various facilities for the New Year garden party are gradually dismantled. However, the dismantled items were not discarded, but were collected together. After all, there are many festivals belonging to each camp, and sometimes they can be pulled out for activities. I wonder what Shinji figured out? Or maybe it was because the girls gave him too many surprises at the New Year garden party that he bought the ring from Akashi for the second time. And the news spread throughout the entire port area the next day. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, Shinji felt that there were more and more ship girls around him. Even some carefree ship girls had become shy now, which made him a little confused. He still hasn't thought that the information about his purchase of the ring has been leaked. At the tea party, Shinji took a sip of black tea and felt extremely comfortable. The afternoon sunshine was warm, making it a very relaxing time. "Commander, you seem to be in a good mood today, and you actually have time to call a few of us out for a tea party. It seems like it's not as simple as a tea party, right?" Enterprise took a sip of tea and looked at the camp leaders and leaders around him. The senior executive said, "Ha, no matter what it is, the commander can just say it directly. If we can do it, then we will definitely work hard to do it. Even if we can't do it, we will find a way." George V laughed. Road. "Speaking of which, isn't it really because the commander bought the ring that he asked us to advise him?" Veneto asked doubtfully. Shinji was stunned. "How did you know I bought a ring?" Several leaders were stunned and looked at each other. Soviet Rosia wondered, "Everything has spread in the port area. Don't Comrade Commander know?" "Huh," Shinji was speechless. "I just asked why there were so many people around me when I was patrolling the port area in the past 2 days. It turns out that they all had this idea. By the way, I only took one person from Belfast with me when I bought the ring that day, right?" Belfast smiled and said, "Master, have you forgotten? As long as you have money, Akashi can sell anything. I believe that as long as someone wants to know what you bought from Akashi, I'm afraid it doesn't take much effort." Hiss. Shinji took a breath. "No wonder. Haha, so Commander, do you need us to give you some advice?" Veneto smiled. "If necessary, we can recommend people in our camp who have a special liking for the commander. Indeed, this will save Comrade Commander more trouble." Soviet Rosia smiled. Shinji rolled his eyes. "Stop it, I don't need your help with this kind of thing. The reason for holding the tea party today is to discuss with you the future deployment of our port area. If it were a meeting, it would be too formal. It would be better to hold a tea party and simply talk about their opinions." So that's what happened. Support teams have been dispatched to each camp, and patrols have just been launched nearby. Now that the commander is talking about this issue, does it mean that you have new ideas? Enterprise asked. Some Shinji nodded. "We were very passive when we were in the port area before. Whether it was the Siren Tide or various camps in danger, whether we went to support them, we were always passive. Most of them are also related to the policies we have carried out before, because before we were just a fleet and could not take into account the changes in the entire situation, so we were basically in a state of sweeping away the snow. But now I feel that our policies and countermeasures should change." Musashi put down his teacup and said with a smile, "Are you ready to take the initiative?" Shinji smiled. "Why not? Development requires resources. Although we can obtain resources from various camps, this is obviously not too long-term. In that case, it is better to choose the source of resources on the sea. We now have over 300 people converted into ships in the port area. This is a very powerful force, and it is enough for us to launch a large-scale offensive. As long as we control part of the sea area, changes in the sirens and even changes in the arbiter will be known to us immediately, so that we can arrange correct and reasonable tactics." Haha, the commander finally brought it up. "We have been waiting for this moment for a long time," King George V said with a smile. "Huh?" Shinji asked suspiciously. "You have already wanted to take the initiative?" "Yes, but I was a little worried that the commander would not agree. After all, taking the initiative also has the disadvantage of taking the initiative. We may have disputes with other camps, or even encounter more troublesome situations. Enterprise smiled. Qin Ji nodded, indeed, but when our fleet arrives and the requirements change, we don't have much time left. I have a hunch that if we don't seize this last period of time, we will be very unhappy in the future. Passive. The Arbiter is a bomb that is counting down. Although we have embers and them in the port area now, we cannot put everything on them. Before the battle begins, it is time for intelligence to come first. Expanding our control of the sea area and conducting more aggressive combat strategies are currently important ways for us to obtain intelligence. In this world, the only one we can believe in unswervingly is ourselves. Musashi nodded. As long as the commander determines this policy, we will implement it firmly. So where does the commander start? Richelieu asked. Qin Ji thought for a while. We will start from the Pacific Ocean, and give notice to Donghuang, Chongqing and Beiying camps before we start. It would be best if they join our operation. Of course, we can't force them not to join. We have to do it. What we want is to control most of the Pacific Ocean and monitor every move of the Siren in the sea area before our eyes. Then we need to establish more overseas bases, the company said. Only in this way can we improve our logistics supply and support linkage. It is necessary. We will discuss this in detail later. The most important thing this time is to confirm this attitude. Since all of you agree, then I will feel relieved, Qin Ji said with a smile. The commander is the commander of our port area and the commander of each of us. As long as it is for the benefit of our port area and the interests of the world, we will agree to it, Veneto smiled. Ha, then it's decided. Next, you will draw up an attack plan and submit it to me when the time comes. If there are no problems, we will start implementing it, Qin Ji said. Clear. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 929. In a certain stronghold in the Pacific. The Purifier jumped open the door and saw a familiar scene. I'm back. The observer stared at the screen without turning his eyes. How is the situation over there? Fortunately, the New Year garden party is very interesting and everyone is very friendly, the Purifier smiled. The tester's tone revealed a hint of helplessness. What we mean is, can that side withstand our attack now? The Purifier thought for a while. Okay, but all the ship girls have not been transformed yet. Are you sure you want to attack now? It's definitely impossible to attack them all at once, but they are really a little loose. It's time to put some pressure on them, the tester said. Hee, in fact, I came back this time with a piece of news, which may be more in line with your taste, the Purifier said. Oh, what's the news? The observer turned around and asked. They are going to start a counterattack, the Purifier said. This means that in addition to patrols and ships deployed in other camps, they will start to use Guam as the starting point and link up with the surrounding Donghuang, Chongqing, and Beiying camps to start the suppression of the sea area has been carried out. The tester showed a smile and looked at the observer. Interesting. In that case, how about our battle becomes a defensive battle? Okay, let them use this attack to remind them that this world is never simple, the observer smiled. In that case, let's start implementing the second part of the plan. It's up to you to notify the Dreamweaver. This time, let's start it with the agent. The Great Sea Battle in the Pacific is about to officially begin, Tester said. Well, let's have the final battle on the Pacific side, the observer laughed. While the Sirens were discussing how to deal with it, the port in Guam was busy. When Qin Ji convened several leaders to discuss the issue, he learned that the leaders themselves had the idea of starting a counterattack. Everyone immediately hit it off, and soon the report of the battle plan was placed on Qin Ji's desk. This report describes the strategic goals and strategic steps in detail. Since it was completed through discussion among several camps, it is considered a very detailed and mature report. Qin Ji just read it once, confirmed it, and informed everyone to implement it according to this goal. The first step of this document is to help the Donghuan camp and the Chongying camp regain control of the front line. Then use the front line as the anchor point to carry out a step-by-step strategy. So when the plan started to be implemented, the entire port area started to move. The Donghuan camp and the Northern Alliance, as well as some Royal and White Eagle aircraft carriers, began to advance towards Donghuan, while the Chongying camp formed a large joint fleet and advanced towards Chongying. As for the other camps, they dispersed from each other, gathered in camps, and started in groups to clean up the sirens near Guam, including near Australia. The entire Western Pacific fell into the rhythm of war at the same time, and the communication room in the port area was busy all day long, constantly transmitting battle information in the area and orders from the port area. Commander, this is the latest news from Donghuan and Chongying. Please read it. Plymouth looked at Qin Ji and placed the report in front of his eyes. Qin Ji nodded, quickly took the report, glanced at it for a few times, and nodded, informed the communications room and asked them to tell Yuxian and Musashi that when carrying out operations, remember to take steps step by step and don't rush in easily to avoid causing any inconveniences necessary loss. Yes, Commander. After receiving the order, Plymouth immediately turned around and called the communications room. He did not breathe a sigh of relief until the call was finished. Seeing Qin Ji begin to read the documents on the table again, he couldn't help but walk to the tea set aside. Next to him, he poured a cup of tea for Qin Ji and put it in his hand. Commander, take a rest and drink a cup of tea. Qin Ji paused for a moment, looked up at Plymouth's innocent smile, couldn't help but put down his work and picked up the teacup. By the way, are you still used to the past 2 days of work? I'm used to it. Being able to see the commander every day and being able to help the commander is what I dream of. Plymouth smiled. Haha, it's good to get used to it. I'm also surprisingly used to Plymouth. I feel that although Plymouth looks like a big lady, it feels more like a member of the maid team. Qin Ji smiled, it's very reassuring, and also very gentle. Hee, please leave it all to me, Master. Plymouth made a maid ceremony and said with a smile, Commander, do you think my imitation of Miss Belfast is still good? Ha ha ha. Qin Ji smiled and said, don't tell me, it's really similar. Maybe because you are an improved version of the Edinburgh class, I can really see a bit of Belfast in you. Haha, I don't know much about the maid corps, but I have heard about Miss Belfast in the port area. I think that since we are also assisting the commander, he should be no different from me. The commander thinks so too? Plymouth asked. Yes, in my eyes you are all the same, and no one is inferior to the other. Whether it is Belfast, George V, or Plymouth, to me everyone is the best helper, and it is really great to be your commander. Qin Ji said. Hee, thank you Commander for your affirmation. I will work harder in the future. Plymouth smiled. Ha, although working hard is a good thing, you should also pay attention to rest when necessary. Qin Ji smiled and said, by the way, who is Plymouth's best friend in the port area? How about that? I feel like I am the commander. I will be very happy every time I see the commander, so I hope that the commander will be equally happy every time he sees me. Plymouth said, there was no hesitation in his tone. Haha, this is of course, but what I mean is, among the ship girls in Tonggang district, who are you the best friends with? Qin Ji asked. It should be Ulrich, right? Plymouth thought for a while, looked at Qin Ji and said. Hu Teng. Qin Ji looked strange. What's wrong? Commander, do you think there's anything wrong? Plymouth asked doubtfully. Qin Ji shook his head, I'm just a little surprised, because there are always some grudges between the royal family and the Iron Blood, and sometimes these things give me a headache. Just like Hood and Bismarck, although the two of them are now, it's not like there will be conflicts every time I see it, but it's still a bit unpleasant. But it makes me a little relieved to hear what you said about Hu Teng. Hee, right, Plymouth smiled, we are all good partners. I think the previous grudges are over. We all live in the same port area, so we should unite and help each other. Yes, it's great that you think so, Chin Ge said with a smile. Thank you, Commander. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 930. As a group of command ships approached the shore of the island, several ship girls stepped off the command ships. Looking around, one could see the ruins of the collapsed building not far away, which made some of them sigh. I didn't expect that it would be like this when we came to the front line again. I remember that when we retreated, this place was not so decayed. It seems that this place has experienced several account baptisms, Enterprise said while looking at the building in front of him. As the commander-in-chief of the Donghuang front line, this time can be regarded as her return to her hometown after 2 years of absence. Yes, I also thought about being able to return to the front line one day, but I didn't expect this day to come so quickly. Anshin smiled, and then looked at the ships behind him. Thank you very much. If it weren't for your help otherwise, Donghuang will not recover to what it is now for a while. Yuxian and Zhenhai smiled at each other and said to the people in front of them, you don't need to thank us. Although we contributed, the real decision this time was made by our commander. The siren took away our ocean before, now is the time to take him back. Well, I can feel your determination, and we also think you have the strength. The company smiled. I hope Donghuang can use this place as a supply base, because we will launch a full-scale battle in the Pacific later, and not only Donghuang, but also Beiying and Chongying will join this battle. Therefore, temporary supplies are particularly important, and with the current strength of the sirens in the area, it is still inappropriate to serve as a front line here. After all, the commanders are no longer adaptable to this level of combat. Zhenhai said. Sister Yuxian told us when we left that we, Donghuang, should try our best to cooperate with your actions, so we unconditionally agree to these requests you made. As long as we can win, as long as we can get rid of the sirens, Donghuang will I'm at your disposal, Anshin said firmly. This is really great, but don't worry, the safety here will naturally be guaranteed by us. But there are a few things I want to tell you. That is because we have to conduct large-scale maritime operations, so we cannot stay here forever. Donghuang must send people over to guard here. Normally, we won't participate in battles, patrols, etc. We will only help when we encounter a major crisis here. In addition, we will use corresponding materials to exchange for daily supplies and the like to ensure that the Donghuang camp will not harm its own interests when providing these. Yuxian said. It's okay. Didn't I just say that Donghuang is willing to make his own contribution, Anshin said. It's up to you if you want to, but it's up to us whether we accept it or not, Zhenhai said with a smile. Yes, Zhenhai is right. The fight against Saren is a matter for all the ship girls and commanders, and it is impossible to ask Donghuang to do the work, so I think it is good to be mutually beneficial like this. Moreover, we need so many materials, but they are not of much use, so the excess materials are exchanged with you for supplies. In this way, you have harvested materials and we have also obtained supplies. This is a win-win situation. Yuxian said. Well, since you have said so, I will agree on behalf of Commander Yuxian, Anshin said. Then your next step is to continue heading into the depths of the Pacific Ocean. Yes, this is the will of our commander and the will of our fleet, Yuxian said. Then we will bless you here and wait for you here. If you need help, please feel free to contact us at any time, the company said. A similar scenario to the scene on Donghuang's front line was also unfolding on Chongying's front line. We can finally reorganize our offensive on the front line, but this time the front line is much quieter. Too many commanders were lost in the last battle, King Kong said, looking at the familiar ruins. You should just do a good job in defense. As for the offense, just leave it to us, Musashi said with a smile. Tusk, I really want to fight side by side with you, but I'm afraid my strength no longer allows it, King Kong exclaimed. By the way, so has Commander Shinji really given the order to start a major counterattack? Yes, helping you all on the front line and establishing bases is also part of our goal. In the future, we will also build more bases in the sea to ensure that supply points can be found whenever an unexpected situation occurs, Musashi nodded. Then do you know what is in the depths of the Pacific Ocean? King Kong asked. I'm not sure about this. Does Shichsakura have the corresponding information? Musashi smiled. There are some. This information was originally highly confidential in Chongqing, but now there is no need to keep it secret. King Kong sighed a little. When we were observing before, we found that the tester's home base may be in the center of the Pacific Ocean, but this is also our inference based on some clues and intelligence. The specific location is not too clear, but if this information can help you, it can be considered its role. Is the tester's home base in the center of the Pacific Ocean? Musashi narrowed his eyes slightly. This is a good piece of information. Thank you very much for providing this information. It's okay, this is all necessary as an ally, and with the current strength of our camp, we can't explore further. It's better to tell you this news, and maybe you can put it to use, King Kong said. Well, don't worry, we won't let you down, Musashi smiled. In the port area on the other side, Shinji took the document handed over by Plymouth and looked at it in detail. Then he put down the document in his hand and looked up with a smile. It seems that now that Donghuang and Chongqing have retaken the front line, we will have corresponding supply locations when we move in the North Pacific and Southwest Pacific. This is very good news for our future battles. Yes, and this time the battle went smoother than expected. It seems that the companions are all very strong, Plymouth smiled. I don't think so. It's better to be cautious. Most of the battles we encountered before were small-scale battles, and after the Sirens know our intentions, they will definitely stop them. So the battle that happened later was a more intense battle, or it could be called a real battle, Shinji said. What the commander said is true, so how should we respond to the two fleets specifically? Plymouth asked. Shinji thought for a moment and said, as before, keep fighting steadily and advance steadily. If you encounter strong resistance, then send troops and generals to assist at any time. This time we will push through. Yes, Commander. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 931. As the fleet advanced, the Siren's fangs were finally revealed. Lord Musashi, an enemy stronghold has appeared in the eastern area of Sea Area 76. According to the detection situation, there are a large number of enemies in the stronghold. And according to the display of the improved radar, testers from the testing agency are also here. I have uploaded the specific information to your terminal through data, please check it carefully. In the port of Petropavlovsk, Musashi looked at the illusory figure in front of him and nodded. I understand. Your reconnaissance team is closely monitoring the activities of the enemy stronghold and report to me at any time if there is any news. Yes, Lord Musashi, we will monitor the report closely. Is there anything else? If not, I will end the call and report the situation to Minato, Musashi said. No more, communication is over. Musashi nodded and watched the illusory figure in front of him gradually disappear. So, Master Musashi, are you really going to report this information to your lord? Amagi looked up at the side and looked at Musashi with a smile. What do you think, Amagi? Musashi did not answer directly, but instead threw the question back. Haha, according to the instructions given to us by the Lord, once a large-scale battle is held, it must be reported to the port area and the nearby fleets must be assembled to ensure that this battle can be won safely and efficiently, Magi said with a smile. Is this your suggestion? Musashi asked with a smile. No, I'm just talking about the Lord's arrangements. A large-scale battle will be held when the local area discovers us, and we also discover the enemy, and both sides gather their forces for a large-scale battle. But this time, this is obviously not the case. Our reconnaissance team has detected the exact location of the enemy's stronghold, and now has a grasp of the enemy's troop distribution. And the most important thing is that the enemy does not know that we have penetrated into Sea Area 76. Therefore, at this time, the more suitable tactic is not to hold a large-scale exhibition, but to use a team of elite ship girls as the vanguard, and set up an air fleet on the periphery, to raid and annihilate them with the strongest posture. Magi smiled. Finally, wait for the victory of the battle and report our results and the entire battle process in the form of documents. This will not violate the rules set by the Lord, and will also highlight the combat effectiveness of our fleet group. Musashi smiled and said, It is indeed Magi. With you helping me, I can fight with all my strength. Haha, thank you, Lord Musashi. This is just a small trick. The most important thing this time is the vanguard composed of elite ship girls. This pair of ship girls must be very powerful. With sufficient anti-aircraft firepower, they can quickly penetrate the enemy. Square stronghold, completely confusing the stronghold. So who is Master Musashi planning to send? Magi smiled. Since we are the elite, let's use the best power. Musashi looked ahead and said, This time it will be up to me, Shinano, Nagato-sama, Shimekaze, Ki, Takao, Atago, Ayanami, Nashiro, and then together with Isuzu, a team was formed to attack the enemy. You will lead Akage, Kaga, Filong, Soryu, Shoukeku, Ziwikaku, Teiho, Hasho, Ryaho and others to support from all sides. As for the others, as the second wave of attack echelons, let us take down this stronghold in one fell swoop. Magi smiled. This configuration is a bit luxurious, but if you want to assemble such a configuration, you have to wait a few days. It doesn't matter. Inform the people in Sea Area 76 to stay hidden and not to be discovered by the enemy. As long as Sea Area 76 is opened by then, we can establish a logistics channel across the Bering Strait, White Eagle, and Northern Alliance. This will be beneficial to us. The strategy for the Pacific will play a crucial role in the future. Any other matter can be postponed for a few days. This matter is the top priority at the moment, and I believe they can understand it. Musashi said. Well, in that case, I will call the others to gather here. Tiancheng smiled, but, will we inform the Northern Alliance about our action this time? After all, for such a large-scale dispatch, Northern United must have known that if they were not notified, they might find Minato City to seek an explanation. Notice, since the commander has issued an order to attack the Pacific, it is necessary for us to share some diplomatic issues with him. Our fleet will be the most powerful fleet in the world. When the time comes for the final battle, there must be only one voice, and I think our fleet is enough to be that voice. Musashi said confidently. I understand, let them rely on us subtly. This method is indeed feasible, and it is much better than simple force deterrence, Magi said with a smile. Well, then let's start the deployment. When the personnel are ready, it will be time for us to dispatch, Musashi said. Yes. Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky, located on the coast of Avika Bay on the edge of the Pacific Ocean, is the largest city on the Kamchatka Peninsula and the fourth largest city in the northern United Far East. Nowadays, the main force of Qinji's Chongying camp is staying here. As Musashi said, this place is very close to Alaska of the White Eagle camp. As long as the sirens here are cleared, the entire Bering Strait can be controlled. Become a logistics supply base for the North Pacific Rim. This is a top priority for the strategy of the Pacific in the later period, so this battle must be successful, and it must be a very beautiful success. While Amagi was notifying the other fleets scattered across the Bering Strait, Musashi headed to the Northern Combined Maritime Administration in Petropavlovsk. Originally, there were no awakening ship girls stationed here, because although the Siren also had a fleet here, the number of attacks was very small. At most, there were only a few large fleets stationed here. When Musashi and others arrived here, the Northern Alliance naturally did not dare to neglect and sent the Hunter Kursk from the Northern Snowfield to come here to cooperate with the Chongsakura Fleet's Pacific strategy. Hello, Kursk, I may have to interrupt you this time. In the office, Musashi smiled and said to the heroic Northern United Ship girl in front of his team. Haha, if you have anything, just tell me directly. I received an order from the Soviet Union and came here just to assist you, Kursk said with a smile. Then let me get it straight. The submarine formation we dispatched discovered a Siren stronghold in Sea Area 76, and a tester from the experimental agency was found in that stronghold. Now we are preparing to conduct a raid on that stronghold, so we need a comprehensive logistical supply. Of course, if you are interested in joining us, we are very welcome. Musashi smiled. Oh, there is actually a Siren stronghold in Sea Area 76? There are actually testers inside. It seems like it will be interesting this time, Kursk said with an excited expression. Count me in. No problem. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 932. Kursk was originally in the combat team in the polar regions and was responsible for affairs in the eastern Arctic Ocean. Originally, she was somewhat reluctant to be transferred here by the Soviet alliance. After all, the fleet led by Musashi was powerful, and they were the ones mainly attacking the sea area. Obviously, it would not be her turn to fight. Except for a few of the ship girls of the Northern Alliance, most of them are warlike people, especially Kursk. She calls herself a hunter and prefers to fight alone. However, teamwork is not unacceptable, but after arriving here, it is obvious that I am responsible for logistics supplies, so these 2 days have been a bit unorganized. But now, she will not become undisciplined, because this time the enemy is the Siren stronghold where the tester is located, and it is obviously a wonderful experience to fight side by side with these ships. Looking at Kursk, who readily agreed, Musashi smiled and said, "But I have a condition, I hope you can agree." "Oh, what are the conditions?" Kursk asked. "Let me explain in advance that although the Soviet Union asked me to support your actions, I cannot agree if it infringes on the interests of the Northern Alliance." "Haha, no, if we want to infringe on the interests of the camp, then we won't send a special support team to unite with you in the north, right?" Musashi laughed. "So what are the conditions?" With Musashi's promise, Kursk felt relieved. "I hope you will report back after this operation is completed to ensure the concealment of this operation," Musashi said. Kursk was stunned. "Do you think it's possible for the Siren to intercept our intelligence data?" Musashi smiled. "I dare not say that this is not possible, so for the sake of absolute concealment, even we are not allowed to report this operation to the Minato district." Kursk looked at Musashi and thought for a moment. "I can agree to this condition, but after the battle is over, I will definitely report the results of this battle." "Of course, there is no problem. I am talking about the situation before the battle. As for after the battle, it is up to you to decide what to report." Musashi nodded. "Okay, cool, let's decide when to start taking action. And how will the action be carried out?" "What do I need to do?" Kursk asked. "It will take a few days to prepare for the operation, so there is no rush now. Our submarine formation is closely monitoring the area and making sure that they have not discovered our intentions. We are now arranging the next step of our troops. As for the specific tactics, we can't reveal them to you yet, but don't worry, you will be on the front line when the time comes, so it's best to be prepared," Musashi said. "Then I'm relieved. Apart from that, is there anything else I need?" Kursk asked. "No, I came here this time to inform these two things, and to strengthen patrols nearby to prevent the sirens from discovering our team's gathering," Musashi said. "I understand, just let me know when the time comes," Kursk said. 2 days later, almost all of Chanyakora's main fleets gathered in Petropavlovsk, and the battle to capture the Siren stronghold was about to begin. In the conference room located in the base, almost all the senior officials of Shichsakura gathered here. Everyone's expressions were different, but they all converged on Musashi, who was in the main seat. "Everyone, I believe you have heard about it. We discovered the Siren stronghold where the experimental agency testers are located in Sea Area 76. So far, our submarine formation has been conducting surveillance, and this time we are notifying you to come back. Launch an attack on the stronghold," Musashi said. The tactics this time were designed by Amagi to combine a surprise attack with an all-out battle. First, the elite team led by me attacked the enemy stronghold in a surprise attack, and then entered the stronghold, causing chaos in the stronghold. At the back, the aviation brigade composed of aircraft carriers will provide air support. After a strong attack, the main force will conduct an all-out battle to completely eliminate this stronghold. Our goal is to hold the tester back and annihilate her. So this time, Master Musashi's main purpose is to annihilate the testers of the experimental agency, Akagi asked. "Yes, I believe that our current actions have been informed by the Siren, and the tester is currently present at this stronghold in order to interfere with our plan in the next step. In order to prevent her from hindering our progress, she must be eliminated here. Although she can still be reborn, it will take time after all, and within this time, we can ensure that there are no big obstacles in the sea area," Musashi said. "A once and for all battle? I like this. So who are the elite teams you mentioned before?" King Kong asked with interest. "After preliminary thinking, the members of the elite team are tentatively decided to be me, Shinano, Nagato-sama, Ki, Teiho, Shimekaze, Ayanami, Takao, Atago, Isuzu, and Nashiro," Musashi said. "This lineup is very powerful, and it also has the advantages of air defense and air raids," Nagato nodded. "Although she hates war, she is not afraid of it. Especially this time, it is the actions of all Chongying, and it is for the future of mankind and the future of this world. It is even more obligatory. Yes, after all, we are going to conduct a surprise attack this time, so we must maintain our own strength and be able to fight the Sirens head-on," Musashi said. "Then have you informed the commander of the battle plan this time?" "I haven't seen Master Musashi come up with the commander's instructions yet," Xianghe asked. "I did not report this operation to the headquarters, but plan to report it together when the operation is over," Musashi said with a smile. "Oh, do you want to give the commander a surprise?" Akagi said with a smile. "There are times when military orders abroad are not respected, and we can launch a surprise attack without having to engage in a protracted battle. Some of the commander's strategies are too stable, and some are not suitable for this operation, so I think it is necessary for us to make the most reasonable judgment based on the current situation outside," Musashi replied. "I think this decision is a good one. Commander is good at everything, but sometimes he just likes to worry. As a ship, we should be at the forefront of the battle, not protected by him." Kang Long pushed up his glasses. Said. "Then unanimous vote?" Musashi asked. Agreed. Everyone nodded in unison. "In this case, I have contacted Kursk of the Maritime Safety Administration here to prepare supplies for us. After a short rest, we will set off to Sea Area 76 for this raid," Musashi said. Clear. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 933. Although I heard from other colleagues that your strength is very strong, but now fighting side by side, I know what this kind of strength is like. Kursk looked at the light cruisers and expulsions that were rapidly advancing not far away. The formation was a bit staggering. Haha, Lord Kursk is also very powerful. Even when he encountered an elite-level Siren humanoid unit, he responded calmly and won the final battle. Magi said with a smile. Well, even though that's the case, I still can't compare with you. But seeing how powerful you are, I don't feel jealous, but instead feel relieved, Kursk said with a smile. Because we are not doing it for our own selfish interests, but for the greater victory of this world, Magi said with a smile. Perhaps, we are all ship girls, and we must unite as one. However, due to the obstacles of the camp, such a wish has never been realized. I see another possibility in you, the kind we have always hoped for. Maybe it's because of the possibility that I hope but can't do it, that I feel so at ease, Kursk said with a smile. Yes, because our Lord has given us unlimited possibilities. It is precisely because of this that we move forward bravely, Magi said. Well, suddenly it feels like being transferred to Petropavlovsk is not that hard to accept, Kursk said with a smile. Hee. Kursk operates with the main fleet. After all, with her strength, she cannot join the elite squad. Kursk had no objection to this arrangement and readily agreed, and was very active all the way. Others have no objection to the existence of Kursk. Although this is an internal operation of Chongying, considering the impact of subsequent actions, Kursk can be one of their excuses, so there is no reason to reject it. Just as the main fleet was moving forward in all directions, the elite team had arrived at Sea Area 76. From the moment they stepped into Sea Area 76, they had voluntarily given up their ship form and started moving forward in their ship girl form. The main purpose of doing this is naturally to avoid making the target too large and causing unnecessary battles. Nagato-sama, Musashi-sama, this should be the direction, right? After checking the specific location, Shimekaze stopped, turned to Nagato and Musashi and said. Nagato did not answer, but looked at Musashi. After all, the leader of this battle was Musashi. Musashi checked the mark, then nodded. Yes, it's here, but why isn't Yi-19 here? How about we communicate directly, Ji said. No, we have entered the sea area now, and all signals have been adjusted to the silent frequency. If we start contact communication now, it will directly expose our position and attack intention. Musashi shook his head. Then what should we do? We can't let Shinano and Teiho use carrier-based aircraft to see it. That would expose our position even more, Ki asked doubtfully. Wait, I believe they must have been hindered by something, so they can't come now, Musashi said. Okay, everyone nodded. Since their location cannot be revealed, this is the only way at the moment. However, the waiting time was not too long. In less than half an hour, a red-haired figure wearing dead water jumped out from the bottom of the water. I-19, Shimekaze said in surprise. Everyone, I'm sorry, I'm a little late, Yi-19 apologized quickly. Don't apologize in a hurry. Did something happen over there? According to the advanced communication, you should be waiting for us here. Now, you are late. I guess something special has happened over there, right? Musashi asked Road. Yes, Lord Musashi, Yi-19 said quickly. Just when I was about to come over, I suddenly discovered that the clearers had arrived near the stronghold, and then entered the stronghold, so we held on for a while longer. But until I came over, I didn't find the cleaners leaving, so this time our battle was against two humanoid units from the Siren Experimental Agency. Is the purifier coming? Musashi frowned. Lord Musashi, shall we continue this operation or retreat first? Takao asked. The arrow is on the string and we have to shoot it. With our main force this time, we still have a very good chance of winning against the two Siren dolls. The pressure on our vanguard force will be greater now, but you are all selected by me. Elite, are you willing to attack the enemy stronghold with me? Musashi said while looking at everyone. Haha, why don't you want to do this? Being selected as the vanguard fleet means that Lord Musashi recognizes our strength. In this case, we cannot retreat when encountering such a situation. Atago smiled. That's right. If we win this battle, the commander will definitely praise us. Then maybe, how can we back down at this time? We must win with an unusual and more undisputed victory. End it all, Dai Feng said with a smile, as if he thought of something good. His whole body fell into fantasy, and his face was filled with blush. Being on the same team as Nagato-sama, Musashi-sama, and Shinano-sama, Shimekaze won't shrink from the battle without being frightened. No matter what kind of danger is in front of me, I will be omnipotent, Shimekaze said firmly. Seeing that everyone did not flinch at all, Musashi smiled slightly. Then it's decided, the battle will continue this time. As for Ye-19, you should quickly leave the sea area and go to a safe place to send the message here to Magi. Get her ready for combat again. Yes, Lord Musashi, Ye-19 nodded, and then stretched out his hand towards Musashi. Lord Musashi, I will give you the information we have observed over the past few days. This will also be helpful to your actions. Well, thank you. Musashi smiled and stretched out his hand, holding it on Ye-19's hand, and the data information was quickly transmitted. Then I'll go and inform Magi-sama, Musashi-sama, Nagato-sama, and everyone else first. I wish you good luck in martial arts, Ye-19 said. Well, you should be more careful. After the notification is completed, return to the fighting position immediately. Nagato nodded. Yes, Nagato-sama. After Ye-19 finished speaking, he quickly dived down, turned into a splash of water, and disappeared from everyone's sight. Then everyone, let's set off. Although this time may be a difficult battle, for the commander's will and for the glory of our Chongsakura camp, we are bound to win this battle, Musashi said. Yes. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 934. Among the strongholds in 76 sea areas. Tester, why are you so anxious that you ask me to come here wearing a suit? The purger shouted to the tester as soon as he entered the stronghold facility. The tester didn't speak, but waved his hand and pointed at the big screen, and then the eliminator looked at the big screen. I saw a bunch of red dots appearing around the signal flashing light, and there was another red dot, rushing towards here at an extremely fast speed. The purge was stunned, under siege. Wait, didn't I just come here? How come I'm surrounded so quickly? The tester smiled and said, the opponent's target is not you, but me. According to Laplace Demon's calculations and the intelligence we currently have, this stronghold is the one they must capture if they want to occupy the Bering Strait. It is precisely because of this that I have arrived at this stronghold early to prepare for this first battle. But you also know that I am not a combatant. Although there are several agents here, I still need someone who is truly suitable for combat. The Purifier is so familiar with them, I'm worried that they might start chatting while they're fighting, so you are the most suitable person. And logically speaking, this is also one of the sea areas you manage. So that's how it is. Let me tell you why you are so mysterious and never tell me the reason. The clearer breathed a sigh of relief and said, but starting the first battle so soon is not according to what the Dreamweaver said, at least until the middle of this year? Is the prediction wrong? The prophecy is not wrong. There will be a full-scale battle starting in the middle of this year. The current battle is just the prelude to the Great War, the tester said while looking at a red dot getting closer and closer on the radar. Okay, then shall we take the initiative to attack or not? The purge asked. Wait for the moment they break into the stronghold, and the battle will officially begin, the tester said. Ho ho, that's interesting. But what is their combat power this time? Asked the clearer. The Vanguard fleet is about 10 ships. As for the main fleet, it is about 50 or 60 ships, the tester said. How do we fight this? So we will lose this time, the purifier rolled his eyes. In an ordinary regional battle, a fleet of ships is enough to sweep several strongholds. This time, the 50 or 60 ship elites have to scan the two of them. It's not like playing. The purpose of our experiment is not to defeat them, right? The tester looked at the cleaner. Tisk, even though I know this is the case, it still feels weird. The purge was speechless. Okay, get ready, the battle will begin soon, the tester said. Yes. As shown on the radar map, Musashi and others who are now rushing into the sea have already seen the location of the stronghold. Everyone, form a single column and rush in as quickly as possible, Musashi said. Yes. The formation of the people moving forward suddenly changed. The formation lined up and rushed straight towards the stronghold in front. At this moment, a large number of siren fleets appeared near the stronghold and began to fire continuously at the heavy men in a single vertical formation. Shinano, Teiho, take off your carrier-based aircraft and quickly destroy the fleets on both sides to buy us time, Musashi said. Understood. Shinano didn't look troubled at this time. With a wave of her right hand, a group of carrier-based aircraft took off from her deck and flew towards the siren fleet in the distance like arrows. Past. At the same time, Daifeng also took off a fleet of carrier-based aircraft and rushed in another direction. With the attack by two aircraft carrier girls operating carrier-based aircraft, the threat from artillery fire to the assault team was much smaller, and they soon arrived about 10 kilometers away from the stronghold. At this time, at the gate of the stronghold, several siren fleets had lined up and opened fire on everyone. Change the will formation, do a good job of prevention and control, and concentrate firepower at the same time. We don't want to fight them in the open sea. This is too passive. We rush in directly inside the stronghold. That's when we can make full use of it, Musashi said. Yes. This formation seemed to have been trained thousands of times. The ship girls only changed their steps slightly and quickly changed from a single vertical formation to a wheel formation. For a moment, artillery fire was fired rapidly, and countless shells and barrages exploded in the siren fleet in front, quickly opening up a path of blood and fire. Everyone's footsteps did not stop at all, or in other words, there was nothing to stop their footsteps at all. All Qin-Ge's previous tactical concepts and guidance were aimed at this moment, concentrating superior firepower to quickly eliminate the enemy. After passing through the obstruction of the fleet in front of them, everyone finally rushed into the stronghold. This stronghold was much larger than the previous siren strongholds. As soon as they entered the sea area of the stronghold, everyone saw an agent blocking the front. Everyone, use your skills quickly and use the strongest firepower to kill her instantly, Musashi said as the purple sword floating beside her was unsheathed. A purple thunder and lightning began to move continuously on the blade, and then a huge purple shadow appeared behind her. The huge shadow held a long sword. As the sword slid, it gathered huge power and moved towards the front. The agent not far away was killed. At the same time, colorful butterflies, sword lights, and phoenix wings also unfolded, and countless barrages and cannonballs rushed towards the agent in front of them. In just a moment, the attack had already overwhelmed the agents in front of them. The firepower of the assault team was displayed at this moment, which was really terrifying. But everyone knows that this agent is not the only agent in the sea area, and there is still another agent not far away. But there is still a distance there, and after everyone's skills are released, it is impossible to release them again in a short period of time, so they immediately stabilize their position and open up an area where they can continue to attack. Lord Musashi, when will Akagi and his aviation team arrive? Ki asked Musashi while fighting. I asked Magi to arrange for the aviation group to start taking off after receiving the information about the I-19. It should be on the way now, and it is expected to arrive in a short time, Musashi said. I understand, Ji said. Reporting to Lord Nagato and Lord Musashi, I have located the location of the clearer. The current location of the tester has not yet been determined, but it should still be within the stronghold, Shimekaze said to the two. Understood, Shinano, Teiho, keep an eye on the entire sea area during prevention and control, and don't let the testers and removers escape, Musashi said. Yes. Haha, then let's start, the hymn of the brave, Atago smiled, and while firing, he pulled out the long sword on his waist and rushed towards the elite siren in front of him.